Six Thinking Hats by Edward de Bono. Picture this, it's 1984, and Los Angeles is about to host the Olympic Games with the entire world watching. Now, here's the thing about hosting the Olympics. It's usually a financial disaster. Cities typically hemorrhage hundreds of millions of dollars. But something different was brewing in LA. Enter Peter Ueberroth, a guy who absolutely refused to think like everyone else. While the whole world saw an impossible problem, he saw a playground of possibilities. The city had basically said, "We're not spending a dime of public money," which should have been a deal breaker. Instead, Ueberroth got creative. He pulled off moves nobody had even dreamed of, using stadiums that already existed and bringing in corporate sponsors in completely unprecedented ways. The result? Brace yourself. The 1984 Los Angeles Olympics didn't just break even. They raked in a profit of $250 million. Mind-blowing, right? And when people asked Ueberroth how he pulled off this miracle, he pointed to something unexpected, a one-hour lecture he'd attended 9 years earlier. A lecture about something called lateral thought, created by the very person we're diving into today, Edward de Bono. So here's a wild idea. What if the biggest thing holding back our thinking isn't that we're not smart enough, or that we don't have enough information? What if it's just confusion? Plain old, overwhelming confusion. Dr. Edward de Bono, who basically made thinking his life's work, was convinced this was our real problem. We're constantly trying to do everything at once. Imagine juggling 6 balls simultaneously. One represents logic. Another is pure emotion. Then you've got information, creativity, hope, and criticism all flying through the air. Most of us spend our entire lives dropping these balls, fumbling around, and getting absolutely nowhere. But here's where it gets interesting. What if you could simplify the whole thing? What if you could tell your brain, all right, for the next 5 minutes, we're only looking at cold, hard facts. That's it. Then switch gears. Now let's just feel what our gut is telling us. And then, time to get creative and wild. De Bono built an incredibly elegant system to do exactly this. It's so simple a kid could learn it, yet so powerful it's turned failing businesses into global juggernauts. Today, you're going to learn this system. By the time we're done, you'll have a mental toolkit that brings crystal clear clarity to your decisions, supercharges your creativity, and transforms your conversations. You're about to discover how to wear 6 different thinking hats, each one a different color, each one unlocking a new and powerful way to see the world. This isn't just about thinking better. It's about taking the driver's seat of your own mind and, in doing so, steering your future exactly where you want it to go. So where do we start? With a surprisingly simple but powerful idea: act as if. Edward de Bono suggests that if you act like a thinker, you'll actually become one. Remember Rodin's famous sculpture, The Thinker, with that contemplative hand-on-chin pose? De Bono playfully suggests that if you just strike that pose, your mind will actually follow suit. Your brain starts playing the role you're physically acting out. The entire 6 Thinking Hats system is built on this foundation. It gives you 6 specific roles to play, 6 ways of acting as if, so your brain can do its best work without getting tangled up. The core problem, as de Bono saw it, is that our brains love creating patterns and then using them over and over again. This is fantastic when you're doing routine stuff like crossing the street, but it's absolutely terrible for creativity and solving new problems. We get stuck in mental ruts, and when we try to think our way out, we fall into the trap of argument. The Western world, he argues, is completely obsessed with debate. We lock onto an opinion and then pour all our energy into defending it, attacking others and proving we're right. But this approach is fundamentally broken. It kills creativity and collaboration. It's all about winning, not exploring. De Bono proposes something radically different: map-making. Imagine you're not arguing a point, but instead collaborating with others to draw a map of completely new territory. First, you explore everything together. You mark all the features on the map: the mountains, the rivers, the forests. Only after the map is complete do you choose the best route forward. The 6 hats are your map-making tools. Just like a color printer lays down one color at a time to create a full picture, You'll use one hat at a time to build a complete map of your thinking. Let's meet the conductor of this orchestra, the hat that tells all the other hats what to do. This is the blue hat. The blue hat is all about control. It's cool, calm, and sees the big picture, just like the vast sky above everything else. When you're wearing the blue hat, you're not thinking about the problem itself. You're thinking about the thinking needed to solve the problem. The blue hat is your mental choreographer. It sets the agenda. It asks questions like, what's our focus here? What problem are we actually trying to solve? And most importantly, which hat should we use next? Someone wearing the blue hat might say something like, all right, team, we've got 30 minutes. How about we start with 10 minutes of white hat thinking to get all the facts on the table? Then we'll switch to the green hat and brainstorm some fresh possibilities. It provides structure, discipline, and keeps us from just wandering aimlessly in circles. Without the blue hat, thinking becomes a random, reactive mess. With it, thinking transforms into a focused, deliberate process. Now let's try on the first hat. The blue hat might call for the white hat. Picture a computer. It's completely neutral. Objective. It just gives you facts and figures, nothing more. No opinions, no emotions. That's the white hat in a nutshell. The color white represents neutrality, and this hat is entirely about pure, unbiased information. When you're wearing the white hat, you're laser-focused on data. What information do we actually have? What information are we missing? What are the plain, hard facts? This is trickier than it sounds. We constantly present our opinions disguised as facts. Someone might declare, the fact is, sales are down because our marketing is terrible. But under the white hat, that's not a fact at all. The fact is, sales have decreased by 15% in the last quarter. The reason behind it? That's interpretation, not fact. The white hat makes a crucial distinction between two types of facts: verified facts and believed facts. Verified facts are premium information, proven and tested. Believed facts are more like second-tier info, things we think are true but haven't fully checked. With the white hat, you can present a believed fact, but you've got to be honest about it. I read somewhere that, or I believe I'm correct in saying that. This discipline stops us from building castles on shaky ground. It forces us to create a solid, factual foundation for our map before we start sketching in the more speculative elements. Next, we shift from the cold, analytical side of the mind to the warmth of the heart. Time to put on the red hat. Red suggests passion, fire, and raw emotion. The red hat is the complete opposite of the white hat. It's the hat of feelings, emotions, intuition, and gut hunches. When you wear the red hat, you get full permission to say, here's how I feel about this. And here's the game-changing rule of the red hat. You never, ever have to justify your feelings. This is huge. In normal thinking, we feel this pressure to have a logical reason for our emotions. If we don't like an idea, we scramble to come up with logical arguments against it, even when our real reason is just a bad feeling in our gut. The red hat removes that pressure entirely. It allows emotions to be a legitimate, visible part of the thinking map. Under the red hat, you can say things like, my red hat feeling is this project will fail. I don't know why exactly, it's just my gut talking. I don't like this candidate, can't explain it logically, but my intuition is waving red flags. I'm incredibly excited about this idea. It just feels right in my bones. By giving emotions a formal, visible place in the process, the red hat does two brilliant things. First, it prevents feelings from secretly sabotaging our logic. When emotions hide in the shadows, they manipulate our thinking without us realizing it. When they're brought into the light, we can see them clearly for what they are. Second, it honors the real value of intuition. Many wildly successful leaders and entrepreneurs have this powerful feel for situations. a complex judgment built on years of experience that they can't always articulate. The red hat gives that wisdom a legitimate voice at the table. Now that we've mapped out the facts and feelings, it's time for a reality check. We need the black hat. The black hat is somber and serious. This is your caution hat, your critical judgment hat. Its job is spotting the negative aspects of an idea. The black hat thinker asks tough questions. Why might this not work? What are the risks, the dangers, the potential pitfalls? It points out design flaws, logical errors, and where an idea clashes with past experience. De Bono points out that this is probably the hat most of us are already comfortable wearing, especially in Western culture. We're trained from childhood to criticize, debate, and find fault. The black hat is like the classic devil's advocate, but there's a crucial difference. Black hat thinking isn't about emotional negativity that belongs to the red hat. If you just feel negative without any reason, that's a red hat response. The black hat must always be logical. It has to provide clear, solid reasons for its caution. For example, a black hat thinker wouldn't just say, "I hate this idea." They'd say, "This idea won't work for 3 specific reasons. First, our production costs will spike by 40%, which our budget simply can't handle. Second, it violates current government regulations. And third, a competitor tried something nearly identical 2 years ago, and it crashed and burned." While it might feel negative, the black hat is actually one of our most valuable tools. It keeps us from making costly mistakes, wasting precious resources, and charging blindly into danger. It's like a safety inspector checking the foundation before we build the skyscraper. However, De Bono warns against overusing it. Someone who constantly wears the black hat can strangle new, fragile ideas before they even have a chance to breathe and grow. That's why balance is critical, especially with its opposite, the yellow hat. If the black hat is the gloomy judge, the yellow hat is the enthusiastic optimist. Yellow is sunny, bright, and positive. The yellow hat is for speculative, positive thinking. It's your engine of progress. Its job is deliberately hunting for the benefits and value in an idea. The yellow hat thinker asks, what are the good points here? What are the real benefits? Why is this idea actually worth pursuing? Like the black hat, the yellow hat needs to be logical. It's not about vague, unrealistic hope. That would be more of a red hat feeling. The yellow hat has to find solid, logical reasons for its optimism. It builds a strong, rational case for why something will actually work. But the yellow hat does more than just evaluate. It's also constructive and generative. This is the hat that builds things up. It takes a fragile new idea and figures out how to strengthen it. When the black hat spots a flaw, the yellow hat's job is figuring out how to fix it. It's the hat that says, "This is a promising starting point. How can we develop this further? How can we actually make this happen?" De Bono argues that we naturally lean toward being negative because caution protects us from harm. Being positive requires deliberate effort. It's a blend of curiosity, desire, and the will to make things happen. That's why the yellow hat is so crucial. You have to consciously choose to put it on and actively search for value, even when it's not immediately obvious. The greatest entrepreneurs are yellow hat masters. They spot value and opportunity where everyone else only sees risk and problems. Finally, we arrive at the most magical hat of all, the one that takes us beyond what is and into the realm of what could be. Time for the green hat. Green represents fertility, growth, and new life sprouting from a seed. The green hat is pure creativity. It's for fresh ideas, novel concepts, and new ways of seeing. When you wear the green hat, your only mission is generating possibilities. It's the hat of change and alternatives. Are there other ways to approach this? What's a completely new angle here? Let's think way outside the box. The green hat is where De Bono's famous concept of lateral thinking really comes alive. Our brains naturally follow logical paths, moving from one known step to the next in a straight line. But truly revolutionary ideas often require us to jump off the well-worn path onto something completely new. That's lateral thinking in action. The green hat gives us explicit permission to make these jumps. To help with this, the green hat uses provocation. A provocation is a statement that might be deliberately illogical, specifically designed to shock our thinking out of its usual ruts. De Bono even invented a special word for it, PO, standing for provocative operation. For example, a green hat provocation might be, PO, what if cars had square wheels? Now, a black hat thinker would immediately shut this down. That's absurd, it wouldn't work. But a green hat thinker uses movement. They ask, where does that take us? Well, square wheels would create a bumpy ride, but only at low speeds. At high speeds, it might smooth out. This could spark ideas about adaptive suspension systems. Or, a square wheel has a flat part touching the ground, suggesting better traction. That could lead to innovative tire designs. The provocation itself isn't the solution. It's the mental crowbar we use to break patterns and discover new, valuable ideas. The green hat is also about relentlessly searching for alternatives. Even when we have a good solution, the green hat pushes us to ask, is there something even better? It fights against the comfort of accepting the first answer and drives us toward continuous improvement. So how do we actually put this all together? Imagine you and your friends are trying to figure out what to do Saturday night. Instead of the usual messy argument, you use the hats. Blue hat. Okay, let's tackle this systematically. Our goal is finding something fun that everyone's genuinely excited about. Let's kick off with some green hat thinking to get all possibilities on the table. Green hat. We could catch a movie, hit up the bowling alley, have a bonfire at the beach. What about trying that new escape room everyone's talking about? Or we could spend a few hours volunteering at the animal shelter. Blue hat. Great solid list of options. Now let's switch to the white hat. What are the actual facts for each option? White hat. The movie starts at 8 p.m. and tickets are $15 each. The escape room is $30 per person and needs online booking. The beach is free, but the forecast shows possible rain after 9 p.m. Blue hat. Perfect. Before we get logical, let's just feel it out. Everyone, quick red hat moment. Red hat. Honestly, not feeling a movie tonight. The escape room idea really excites me. The beach sounds relaxing and peaceful. Blue hat. Interesting mix. Okay, now let's get practical with the yellow hat. What are the real benefits of these options? Yellow hat. The escape room would be a totally new experience and an awesome team challenge. The beach would be cheap and beautiful if weather cooperates. A movie is easy and reliable. Blue hat. Now for the reality check. Everyone put on your black hat. What are the potential downsides? Black hat. The escape room is pricey, and what if we can't solve it? That could be frustrating rather than fun. The beach is risky with that weather forecast. The movie might be sold out, plus we might not agree on what to watch. Blue hat. All right, we've got a complete map now. We have the facts, our gut feelings, the upsides, the downsides, and a creative range of options. Looking at the whole picture, the escape room seems to have the most energy behind it, though cost and booking are concerns. The beach is weather dependent. Let's make our call. In just a few focused minutes, you've transformed from a confusing argument to a clear, collaborative decision. Nobody wasted energy defending their position. Instead, you all worked together drawing the map, and now the best path forward is crystal clear. That's the real power of the 6 thinking hats. It transforms thinking from a battle into creative collaboration. When you first encounter the 6 thinking hats, it can seem a bit playful, almost like a parlor game. And, honestly, in a way it is. But that simplicity is its secret weapon. Edward de Bono understood something profound about the human mind. Our greatest enemy isn't stupidity or ignorance. It's complexity, leading to confusion. This system is a powerful antidote to that confusion. Its first major strength is simplifying thinking by letting us focus on one dimension at a time. Think about how revolutionary that actually is. In a normal discussion, you're simultaneously trying to process data, manage your emotions, be critical, be creative, and stay positive all at once. It's mentally exhausting and wildly ineffective. The hats let you say, for this moment, I'm purely a scientist, or, right now, I'm purely an artist. It brings remarkable calm and clarity to even the most heated and complex situations. The second, perhaps even more powerful feature of this system is how it handles the human ego. Most thinking errors spring from our ego's desperate need to be right. We attach ourselves to ideas, and they become part of our identity. When someone criticizes the idea, it feels like a personal attack. This is why arguments so often turn nasty and destructive. The hats offer a brilliant solution. They turn thinking into performance. When you put on the black hat, you're not being yourself. You're playing the role of critical thinker. Your ego gets protected because you're just performing a function. You can say, putting on my black hat for a moment, I'm seeing a potential flaw here. This allows people to be critical without seeming negative or disagreeable. It detaches ego from thought. You can challenge an idea without challenging the person. You can ask a perpetually negative person to swap their black hat for a yellow one, and it's not an insult. It's simply a request to play a different role in the collaborative game. So how can you actually start using this in your real life, starting today? Here are 3 practical approaches. First, use it for personal decisions. Next time you're facing a tough choice, what to study, where to apply for a job, how to handle a tricky relationship, grab a sheet of paper. Divide it into 6 sections, 1 for each hat. Spend a few honest minutes on each section. Go through the complete process we just outlined. I genuinely promise you, by the end, you'll have a level of clarity you didn't think possible. The fog will lift, and the right path often reveals itself naturally. Second, start weaving the language into everyday conversations. Even when others don't know the system, you can guide thinking without ever mentioning hats. Try saying things like, let's set opinions aside for a second and just focus on facts. What do we actually know for certain? That's inviting white hat thinking. Or, okay, let's be optimistic for a moment. What's the absolute best outcome we could hope for here? That's a yellow hat question. You become the invisible conductor of the conversation, steering it toward clarity and away from conflict. Third, practice your weakest hat. Are you naturally a black hat thinker, always spotting problems? Spend a day consciously wearing the yellow hat. Hunt for positives in every situation. Search for value in every idea you encounter. Are you very emotional, a natural red hat thinker? Practice the white hat. Separate hard data from your feelings. By strengthening your weaker thinking muscles, you become a more balanced, flexible, and genuinely powerful thinker. In the end, the quality of our lives is often a direct mirror of the quality of our thinking. Edward de Bono's gift to the world wasn't just a clever book. It was a practical user's manual for the human mind. It's a system proving that good thinking isn't some innate talent reserved for a lucky few. It's a skill that can be learned, a discipline that can be practiced. The 6 thinking hats give us an elegant, simple way to bring order to the beautiful chaos in our minds, and to become master conductors of our own thoughts. That was the book summary of 6 Thinking Hats by Edward de Bono. We've covered the main framework today, but here's the truth. A summary can only take you so far. Real transformation happens when you start internalizing these ideas yourself. It's in those quiet moments when a story or concept suddenly clicks in your mind that you feel the genuine shift. This overview is meant to help you decide if this book deserves your time investment. If anything we've discussed has sparked something in you, I really encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning a technique. It's about fundamentally upgrading how you think, decide, and create. You can find a link to the book in the description below. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration of another life-changing book from the Billionaire's Bookshelf. Let's continue this journey of growth together.